YouTube, Kamen Rider here. Welcome to my review for Kamen Rider Gavv episode 26, the first time I'm doing an individual episode in a while. This was an okay episode. It definitely felt like more of an in-between episode. It wasn't as eventful until the cliffhanger at the very end. Honestly, it primarily wrapped up the storyline that we were having with Lakia, of him learning about humanity and learning to empathize more with them through working with Sachika on this case, and in particular this kid whose YouTube was stolen, and also even connecting a bit to the food theme, as this kid's channel was about sharing his love for food, and he shares like a pudding snack with Lakia that's like being eaten out of what looks like a cartoon milk carton. I think I've seen that type of packaging in Japanese food before, but it's still just kind of funny to see. But it seems that he actually can enjoy and eat human food. Last week we had him eating ice cream cake, and then he didn't like it and just ate a rock. So it's not like a what we do in the shadow situations. If they eat pizza, they start vomiting. Like, they can't eat it, it's just he found a different taste for something through an emotional connection. Good way of bringing the very strange theme of this series into this. But I did like this storyline. Like, I liked the dynamic of Lakia and Sachika, and in general, just looping him into this group dynamic. I'll be interested to see what it's going to be like when Honto eventually comes around and we have all four of them together. But that was kind of the main plot thing that happened here, is it was almost like a classic two-parter here of him learning to empathize with humans, which is a story we all knew was coming. Real quick insert thoughts here that I forgot to mention when I was recording and thought about when I was editing was, I thought it was funny after last week where I mentioned it would be cool to get an ice cream cake hybrid form after he first tried ice cream cake. He doesn't get that exactly, but he does get to use the caking sword when in the ice cream form because he had ice cream cake, which I thought was just kind of a funny direct call to what I had said the previous week. It's kind of like in this week's Red Ranger Adventure video, or last week's, when I said, oh, I want to see a full Sentai episode with this, and then they did it. The other thing was, I just think it's funny that Lakia now has like a light version of his outfit. Like, before he had the unnecessary fisherman's hat that was dark and like a trench coat, and now he's basically wearing a light version of that costume with still the unnecessary hat, but I think that's just kind of funny. We also have Honto dealing with that side effect from his transformation, and he goes to Suga, and maybe I'm misreading it, but it seems like he actually does want to fix it. It doesn't seem like this thing that was happening to Honto is necessarily something that Suga was wanting to happen on purpose, because he actually is looking into it. And it's funny because he's like, okay, use the old ones in the meantime that you got from Gavv, and he's like, no, because it reminds me too much of Shoma. It's interesting in a way how long we're lingering on this. We did this big reveal of Gavv being a granite that I thought was going to have all this fallout, and it had like half an episode of fallout, but that was only because Bitter Gavv kind of stirred the pot. And we got over it quick, everyone was mature. And then we have the second reveal, and that's when we have them separated for longer. And at least it's not like a super angry situation where every time he sees Shoma, he punches him in the face and screams at him or something like that. But in a way, I'm kind of two minds on it. In one way, I'm like, given how level-headed everyone's been, I'm surprised how long this is taking. But also, I guess I kind of get it because it's so emotionally tied to his memories from his mother when he was little. But at the same time, it's like, based on his previous logic, doesn't he not understand that Gavv was a little kid when this happened? It wasn't like when he was actively lying to him as an adult, he was a little kid that didn't even know what was going on. So I'll be interested to see where this ends up, but he doesn't want to use the old ones because it reminds him of Shoma and all that. And it's funny because he's starting to have those pains again, and he's like, oh, these things cause me pains. But actually, sometimes it helps the pains. And then he puts it back and he's like, nope, nope, still causes the pains. I thought that was kind of funny. You did highlight also Vram's problem when he transformed and he used the pink form again, and it was like grasping his heart. I think that one is purposeful for some degree, that came from the guy whose name is escaping me, Sylvia or whatever his name is. I can't remember his name right now, but I think that one is purposeful. Shoma was not tired or showing that in this episode. I brought that up last week, how he's been kind of consistently tired, and people were saying that was because of like the emotional fallout from everything with Valen, which I guess that maybe is true. I didn't read it that way. I thought it was something a lot bigger, but it wasn't present in this episode at all. But he still is only using the ice cream form. But the big significant thing really happens at the end when Valen's like, okay, it was stupid to use the thing that's causing me pain to soothe the pain, which caused more pain. And he goes back to Suga and sees two Bitter Gavvs reporting back to him, so the secret's out there. And then the preview seems to spoil that Suga is going to be the one to actually be using the research to transform into a new version of Bitter Gavv. So I think that's where I thought it was going, but it was a good cliffhanger, because like I said, overall this episode was okay. It felt kind of just like wrapping things up from last week. I like the stuff with Lakia, but then it was the end. It was like, boom, big reveal. I'm excited for next week. So rather short review because, like I said, this was kind of more of an in-between episode. But that's about it for this one, guys. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for more videos like this and more. Kamen Rider, signing out.